The signal from the void, the impossible transmission commander Sarah Chen, stood in the communications bay of the exploration vessel Frontier's Edge, staring at the data stream that shouldn't exist. Her fingers trembled slightly as she replayed the audio for the third time. The voice was clear, unmistakably human, speaking English with an accent she couldn't quite place. "This is Arcadia Station calling any Earth vessels. We have been waiting. Please respond." The message had originated from a star system designated as Kepler 1649, located roughly 40,000 light-years from Earth. The distance alone made it impossible. Humanity's fastest ships could barely reach 15 light-years from home. No colony had ever been established that far out. No mission had ever been launched to that sector of space. Lieutenant James Park, the ship's communications officer, looked up from his console with wide eyes. "Commander, I've run every diagnostic possible. This isn't a malfunction. The signal is real, and it's definitely coming from Kepler 1649. Sarah ran a hand through her short black hair, a habit she'd developed during her 15 years in the exploratory fleet. "How old is the transmission?" "That's the strange part," James replied, pulling up another screen. "Based on the signal degradation and distance, it was sent approximately 6 months ago. But Commander, the language patterns, the technology signature, it all matches contemporary Earth standards." Dr. Elena Vasquez, the ship's chief science officer, entered the bay with her tablet in hand. She was a woman in her late 40s with sharp eyes that missed nothing. "I heard we caught something interesting. Let me guess, another probe malfunction?" Sarah shook her head and played the message again. Elena's expression shifted from skepticism to shock in seconds. "That's impossible," Elena whispered. "There are no human settlements in that region. The colonization efforts never reached beyond the local bubble." "I know," Sarah said quietly. "But impossible or not, we have a decision to make." The three of them stood in silence, the weight of the moment pressing down on them. The Frontier's Edge was on a routine mapping mission, cataloging resource-rich systems for future exploitation. They were nowhere near Kepler 1649, and deviating from their mission profile would require authorization from Fleet Command back on Earth. "How long would it take us to reach that system?" Sarah asked. Elena consulted her tablet, running quick calculations. "With our conventional drives, about 8 years. But if we use the quantum jump drive..." "That technology is still experimental," James interrupted. "We've only tested it twice, and both times were under controlled conditions with minimal jump distances." Sarah felt the familiar pull of curiosity and duty warring within her. The quantum jump drive was humanity's latest breakthrough, a system that could fold space and allow near-instantaneous travel across vast distances. The theory was solid, but practical application remained risky. One miscalculation could scatter their atoms across a dozen star systems. "Elena, what are the odds of a successful jump to Kepler 1649? Sarah asked. The science officer bit her lip, thinking. "With our current data and the jump coordinates we'd need to calculate, I'd say 70% success rate. Maybe 75 if we take an extra day to refine the mathematics." "And the odds that this signal is genuine?" Sarah pressed. "Unknown," Elena admitted. "But Commander, if there are humans out there, humans who somehow reached a system 40,000 light-years away, we need to know how. This could change everything we understand about our own history." Sarah made her decision. "James, send a message to Fleet Command. Inform them we've detected a potential human signal and are investigating. Elena, start calculating the jump coordinates. I want us ready to move in 24 hours. Commander," James said carefully, "Fleet Command will order us to hold position and wait for a proper expedition. Then we'll apologize when we get back," Sarah said with a slight smile. "Some opportunities only come once." Preparation and doubt. The next 24 hours transformed the Frontier's Edge from a relaxed exploration vessel into a hive of focused activity. The crew of 38 worked in shifts, preparing every system for the dangerous quantum jump ahead. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Marcus Webb oversaw the calibration of the quantum drive with the intensity of a surgeon performing delicate surgery. He was a large man with hands that seemed too big for the precise work he performed. Yet those hands never trembled as he adjusted the quantum field generators. "Marcus, how are we looking?" Sarah asked, entering the engine room. He wiped sweat from his forehead and grinned. "Well, Commander, I won't lie to you. This drive was meant for emergencies and short hops. What we're about to do is like using a scalpel to chop down a tree. It'll work, probably, But it's not what the tool was designed for. Probably isn't very reassuring, Sarah said. It's the best I can offer, Marcus replied honestly. The math checks out, the systems are green, and I've triple-checked every connection. If we're going to do this, now is as good a time as any. Sarah nodded and made her way to the bridge where Elena was reviewing the final calculations with her team. The science officer looked exhausted, her eyes red from staring at screens for too long. Tell me you found something that makes this less insane, Sarah said. Elena laughed tiredly. Actually, I found something that makes it more insane. I've been analyzing the signal's characteristics, and there's something odd about it. The technology used to send it is definitely human in origin, but it's more advanced than anything we currently have. Whoever sent this message has better communications technology than Earth. How is that possible? I don't know, Elena admitted. But there's more. I ran the message through linguistic analysis. The accent, the speech patterns, they match Earth English from about 800 years ago. Old English, but not ancient. It's like listening to someone from the early colonization era. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. 800 years ago, Earth had been in chaos. The climate wars had devastated nations, and resources had grown scarce. It was the darkest period in modern human history, a time when survival itself was uncertain. Are you suggesting that somehow, during the climate wars, humans managed to travel 40,000 light-years and establish a colony? Sarah asked. I'm not suggesting anything, Elena said. I'm just presenting the data. But Commander, if this is real, if there really are humans out there, they've been isolated for 8 centuries. They've developed independently, evolved their own culture and technology. We have no idea what we're going to find. Sarah looked out at the stars through the bridge viewport. Somewhere out there, impossibly far away, other humans might be waiting. The thought was both thrilling and terrifying. All hands, this is Commander Chen, she announced over the ship-wide intercom. In 1 hour, we will attempt a quantum jump to the Kepler 1649 system. This is unprecedented and dangerous. I won't order anyone to risk their life for what might be a wild chase. If anyone wants to register an objection or request transfer to a shuttle before we jump, now is the time. She waited, but no responses came. Her crew trusted her, and she felt the weight of that trust. The quantum leap. The bridge was silent except for the soft hum of instruments as the crew took their stations. Sarah sat in the command chair, her hands gripping the armrests perhaps a bit too tightly. All stations report ready, James announced. Quantum drive is charged and stable, Marcus reported from engineering. Field generators are synchronized. Jump coordinates locked, Elena confirmed. We have a clean calculation. Commander, we're ready. Sarah took a deep breath. This was the moment. Once they initiated the jump, there would be no turning back until they reached their destination, or scattered across the cosmos. Initiate quantum jump, Sarah ordered. Take us to Kepler 1649. Elena's fingers danced across her console, inputting the final commands. The ship began to vibrate, a deep thrumming that seemed to resonate in Sarah's bones. Outside the viewport, space itself began to distort, stars stretching and bending as the quantum field enveloped the frontier's edge. The universe folded. For a moment that felt like eternity, and an instant simultaneously, Sarah existed everywhere and nowhere. She could see the entire ship laid out before her like a blueprint, could feel every atom of her body simultaneously connected and separate. Colors that had no names flashed before her eyes. Sounds that couldn't exist in normal space sang through her mind. Then reality snapped back into focus. The bridge lights flickered and stabilized. The viewport showed new stars, a different arrangement of constellations that Sarah didn't recognize. Alarms blared briefly before Elena silenced them. Status report, Sarah commanded, her voice hoarse. We made it, Marcus announced, his voice filled with relief and disbelief. Quantum jump successful. All systems nominal. Minor power fluctuations, but nothing critical. Position confirmed, Elena added, her fingers flying over her console. We are in the Kepler 1649 system. Commander, the jump was perfect. We're exactly where we intended to be. Cheers erupted across the bridge, but Sarah held up a hand for silence. James, scan for that signal. Find me Arcadia Station. The communications officer worked quickly, his expression growing more excited with each passing second. Commander, I'm picking up multiple signals. Lots of them. Radio, laser communications, even quantum entanglement chatter. This system is alive with activity. On screen, Sarah ordered. The main viewport shifted to show the system's primary planet, a blue-green world that looked remarkably similar to Earth. But what caught everyone's attention were the orbital structures surrounding it. Massive space stations, satellite networks, defensive platforms, and dozens of ships moving between them. "My God," Elena whispered. "It's a full-scale civilization." "Commander, we're being hailed," James said, his voice shaking slightly. "Audio and visual. They're asking us to identify ourselves." Sarah straightened in her chair, smoothing her uniform. "Put them through." The viewport flickered, and suddenly they were looking at a face. A human face. The man appeared to be in his 50s with gray hair and eyes that held both warmth and caution. He wore a uniform that was similar to Earth's fleet style, but with different insignia and colors. "Earth vessel Frontier's Edge," the man said, his voice carrying that same odd accent from the original message. "This is Chancellor Marcus Reeve of the Arcadia Commonwealth. On behalf of all the Exodus colonies, I welcome you home. We've been waiting a very long time for this moment." Sarah felt tears prick her eyes, though she wasn't sure why. "Chancellor Reeve, this is Commander Sarah Chen. I have about 1,000 questions, but I'll start with the most important one. Who are you? How did humans get here?" Marcus Reeve smiled sadly. "Commander Chen, we are your cousins, your distant relatives. 800 years ago, during the darkest days of Earth's history, our ancestors left on colony ships searching for a new home. We thought Earth had died. We thought we were all that remained of humanity. The bridge was utterly silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had split, divided by distance and time, and neither side had known the other survived." "Chancellor," Sarah said slowly, "I think we have a lot to talk about." "Indeed we do, Commander," Marcus replied. "Indeed we do. Please accept our invitation to land. It's time our two branches of humanity met face to face." As the Frontier's Edge began its descent toward the planet below, Sarah couldn't help but wonder what other secrets waited to be discovered. Humanity had found itself among the stars, and nothing would ever be the same again. Two humanities, one future landing on New Terra. The shuttle descended through Arcadia's atmosphere with Sarah, Elena, James, and 4 security officers aboard. Below them, the capital city of New Terra sprawled across a coastal region that reminded Sarah painfully of San Francisco before the climate wars had swallowed it beneath the waves. But this city was different. The architecture blended organic curves with crystalline structures that seemed to grow from the earth itself. Gardens cascaded down building sides, and the streets were filled with people going about their daily lives, completely human yet somehow different in ways Sarah couldn't quite define. "Those buildings," Elena murmured, her scientific mind already analyzing. "They're not constructed in the traditional sense. They're grown. Biological engineering on a scale we've never achieved." The shuttle landed on a platform atop the largest structure in the city, a spiraling tower that reached toward the sky like a twisted helix. As the hatch opened, Sarah took her first breath of alien air that smelled of flowers and rain. Chancellor Marcus Reeve waited with a delegation of officials, all wearing variations of the same elegant uniform. But what struck Sarah most was how normal they looked. These weren't aliens or mutants. They were humans as human as anyone back on Earth, just shaped by 800 years of separate evolution. "Commander Chen," Marcus said, extending his hand in the age-old gesture of greeting. "Welcome to Arcadia. Welcome home." Sarah shook his hand, feeling the warmth and strength in his grip. "Chancellor Reeve, thank you for receiving us. I have to admit I still can't quite believe this is real." Marcus laughed, a genuine sound that eased some of the tension. "I imagine we'll both be saying that a lot over the coming days. Please come inside. We have much to discuss, and I believe food and rest would be welcome after your journey." They were led into a conference chamber that combined technology and nature in ways that seemed impossible. Holographic displays floated alongside living plants that climbed the walls. The table itself appeared to be carved from a single massive piece of wood, yet data screens were somehow embedded within its surface. As they settled into seats that adjusted automatically to their bodies, Marcus gestured and the holographic displays came to life, showing star maps and historical records. "Let me tell you a story," Marcus began, his voice taking on the cadence of someone who had told this tale many times. 837 years ago, Earth was dying. The climate wars had devastated the planet, and our ancestors believed humanity had perhaps 2 generations left before extinction. Sarah felt Elena stiffen beside her. This matched the darkest projections from that era, projections that had fortunately proven too pessimistic. A secret program was initiated, Marcus continued. Project Exodus. Using technology that was barely understood and resources that could have saved millions on Earth, they built 12 colony ships. Each ship carried 10,000 people in cryostasis, along with genetic banks, cultural archives, and manufacturing equipment. The plan was simple and desperate: scatter humanity across the stars and hope that at least some of us would survive. 12 ships, James whispered. We have no records of this. How is that possible? The program was classified at the highest levels, a woman to Marcus's right explained. She was introduced as Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the Commonwealth's chief historian. In the chaos of the wars, records were lost or deliberately destroyed. Those who remained on Earth either didn't know about Exodus or forgot as they fought to survive. Marcus nodded gravely. Our ship, the Odyssey, was one of 12. We traveled for 300 years in cryosleep, our AI guidance system searching for a habitable world. When we finally found Arcadia, we woke to discover we were alone. The other ships had scattered across the galaxy and we had no way to find them or contact Earth. He paused, emotion crossing his face. We established our colony and we survived. Generation after generation, we built this civilization. We advanced our technology, terraformed 3 additional planets, and never stopped looking at the stars, wondering if anyone else out there remembered us. Sarah felt the weight of history pressing down on her. And Earth? Did you ever try to contact us? For the first 2 centuries, we didn't have the technology, Dr. Tanaka explained. By the time we developed faster-than-light communication, we weren't sure if anyone on Earth had survived. We sent probes, messages, anything we could think of, but the distance was too great and we received no response. Until 6 months ago, Marcus said, leaning forward, when we detected quantum signatures that matched old Earth technology. We realized you had not only survived but advanced. We sent our message and prayed someone would hear it. Elena cleared her throat. Chancellor, I have to ask. Your technology, particularly in biological engineering and terraforming, is far beyond anything we've achieved. How? Marcus smiled with something like pride. We had no choice. This world was marginally habitable when we arrived. We had to adapt it to us and adapt ourselves to it. We became masters of biological systems because our survival depended on it, just as you, I imagine, focused on other technological paths. Quantum mechanics, artificial intelligence, and energy systems, Sarah confirmed. We took a different path. Exactly, Marcus said. Which brings me to why we're so grateful you answered our call. Commander Chen, our 2 branches of humanity have developed complementary technologies. Alone, we each have limitations. Together, we could achieve things neither of us dreamed possible. Before Sarah could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the building. Marcus's expression shifted from welcoming to concerned in an instant as he accessed a data screen on the table. What's happening? Sarah demanded, her military instincts immediately alert. Long-range sensors, Marcus said, his voice tight. We've detected something. A massive object cluster approaching the system. It's moving fast, too fast to be natural. Dr. Tanaka pulled up additional displays, her fingers moving rapidly. Trajectory analysis confirms it's on a collision course with Arcadia. Commander Chen, we need to access your ship's sensor data. Our detection systems might be missing something. James was already on his communicator, linking back to the frontier's edge. Within moments, Elena had connected her tablet to the Commonwealth systems. Merging their data, what they saw made Sarah's blood run cold. The swarm. It's an asteroid swarm, Elena said, her voice hollow. Thousands of objects ranging from building-sized to mountain-sized. They're being driven by some kind of gravitational anomaly, and they're all headed directly toward the inner planets of this system. Marcus stood, his face pale. Time to impact? 48 hours until the first waves hit Arcadia, Dr. Tanaka replied. Maybe 72 hours until the larger objects arrive. Chancellor, this could be an extinction-level event. Sarah's mind raced. 48 hours wasn't enough time to evacuate an entire planet. Even with the Commonwealth ships and the frontier's edge, they could maybe save a few thousand people at most. Millions would die. Do you have planetary defenses? Sarah asked. Weapon systems, shields, anything? We have orbital defense platforms, Marcus said, already pulling up tactical displays. They're designed to deflect individual asteroids or defend against hostile ships, but nothing on this scale. We've never faced anything like this. Elena was studying the swarm's composition, her scientific mind working even in crisis. Commander, look at this. The gravitational anomaly driving these asteroids, it's not natural. Someone or something is directing them. Are you saying this is an attack? James asked, his hand instinctively moving toward his sidearm. I don't know, Elena admitted. But the precision of the trajectories, the way the swarm is organized, it's too perfect to be random chance. Sarah made a decision. Marcus, I need full access to your defense systems and all data on your orbital platforms. Elena, James, get back to the ship. I want a complete analysis of that swarm and any weaknesses we can exploit. Marcus, can your people work with mine? Of course, Marcus said immediately. Dr. Tanaka, coordinate with Commander Chen's science officer, General Zhao. He addressed a stern-looking man who had entered the room. Make all military resources available to our Earth allies. As Elena and James rushed out, Sarah turned to Marcus. 800 years you've been alone. 800 years building this civilization. We're not going to let it end in 48 hours. Marcus met her eyes, and in that moment, Sarah saw the determination that had allowed humanity to survive against impossible odds, no matter which branch they came from. Then let's show the universe what humans can do when we work together, Marcus said. United, we stand. The next 24 hours blurred into a frenzy of activity. The Commonwealth's biological engineers worked alongside Elena's quantum physicists. Marcus's military strategists coordinated with General Zhao and Sarah's tactical officers. Two branches of humanity that had been separated for 8 centuries came together with a unity born of desperate necessity. In the Frontier's Edge's conference room, which had been connected via holographic link to the Commonwealth's command center, a plan began to take shape. The problem is mass and momentum, Elena explained, displaying the swarm's trajectory. Even if we destroyed the asteroids, the debris would still impact the planets. We need to redirect them entirely. Dr. Tanaka nodded, adding her own data. Our terraforming technology might provide a solution. We've developed gravitational anchors, devices that can alter the orbital dynamics of planetary bodies. We use them to adjust asteroid orbits for mining operations. But not on this scale, General Zhao pointed out. The power requirements alone would be astronomical. Sarah felt an idea forming. What if we combined technologies? Elena, our quantum reactors can generate massive amounts of power, far more than we typically need. Could we use that power to amplify the Commonwealth's gravitational anchors? Elena's eyes widened. It might work. We'd need to retrofit the anchors to accept quantum power feeds, but the basic physics is sound. We could create gravitational wells strong enough to redirect even the largest asteroids. How many anchors can you build in 24 hours? Sarah asked Dr. Tanaka. The historian-turned-engineer consulted with her team. If we convert every manufacturing facility on Arcadia, and the orbital stations, maybe 30 units. Is that enough? Elena ran calculations. If we place them strategically and power them with our quantum reactors, yes. We can create a gravitational corridor that will redirect the swarm away from the inhabited planets. There's still the matter of the anomaly driving the swarm, Marcus said. Even if we redirect it this time, what's to stop it from happening again? Sarah had been thinking about that. We need to investigate the source. James, can we track the gravitational anomaly back to its origin? The communications officer, who had been working with the Commonwealth sensor technicians, looked up. Yes, Commander. The anomaly appears to be originating from a rogue planet at the edge of the system. It's massive, several times Jupiter's size, and it's emitting energy signatures we've never seen before. Could it be artificial? Marcus asked. Unknown, Elena replied. But we need to find out. If this is a weapon or some kind of ancient technology, we need to understand it. Sarah made the call. We split our forces. The majority of our people work on building and deploying the gravitational anchors. Elena, you'll lead that effort with Dr. Tanaka. Marcus and I will take a small team on the Frontier's Edge to investigate the rogue planet. We have 24 hours to save Arcadia and solve this mystery. No one argued. There was no time for debate. The rogue planet 16 hours later. The Frontier's Edge approached the rogue planet through the outer reaches of the system. Sarah, Marcus, and a mixed crew of Earth and Commonwealth personnel watched as the massive world grew larger on their screens. It was beautiful and terrifying. The planet glowed with an inner light, swirling patterns of energy dancing across its surface. Massive structures, clearly artificial, dotted its surface like monuments to some forgotten civilization. Life signs? Sarah asked. Negative, the sensor technician reported. But Commander, those structures are generating the gravitational anomaly. They're some kind of ancient gravitational engines, and they're still active after who knows how many millennia. Marcus studied the data with fascination and horror. Someone built this. Someone created a weapon capable of destroying solar systems, and then they just left it here. Or they died, Sarah said quietly. Maybe they destroyed themselves with their own creation. As they entered orbit, more details became clear. The structures formed a network across the planet's surface, each one a massive tower that reached from the core to the upper atmosphere. They pulsed with energy in a rhythm that reminded Sarah of a heartbeat. Can we shut them down? Marcus asked. Elena's voice came through from Arcadia, where she was overseeing the anchor deployment. Commander, we've detected a control center on the planet's surface. It's at the North Pole, inside what looks like a command facility. If we can access it, we might be able to deactivate the gravitational engines. Sarah looked at Marcus. We're going down there. They assembled a team quickly. Sarah, Marcus, 2 security officers from each civilization, and a young Commonwealth engineer named Alex Park, who had expertise in ancient technologies. The shuttle descended through energy storms that would have torn apart a lesser vessel, protected only by the quantum shields that Earth had perfected. The facility was enormous, a city-sized structure that had been built into the planet's crust. As they explored its corridors, their suit lights revealing architecture that was both alien and somehow familiar, Sarah felt the weight of deep time pressing down on her. These builders, Marcus said, examining symbols carved into the walls, they were humanoid. Look at the proportions of these doorways, the height of these control panels. They were built for beings roughly our size. But they're not human, Alex added, his scanner revealing more data. The atmospheric composition they preferred, the gravity tolerance, it's all different. They were humanoid, but definitely not us. They found the control center at the heart of the facility. It was a vast chamber filled with crystalline technology that still hummed with power after countless millennia. At its center stood a holographic interface that activated as they approached. Images appeared telling a story without words. A great civilization that had mastered the fundamental forces of the universe. A catastrophic war with an enemy shown only as shadow. A final desperate weapon, the gravitational engines built to protect their worlds by redirecting any threat. But something had gone wrong. The weapon had continued operating long after its creators had vanished, blindly following its programming, seeing threats where none existed. It's automatic, Sarah realized. It detected our ships, our orbital structures, and classified them as invasion forces. It's trying to protect a civilization that's been extinct for millions of years. Alex worked quickly at the controls, his fingers dancing over interfaces that responded to touch despite the ages. I think I can deactivate it, but we need to be careful. If I shut it down wrong, it might trigger a cascade failure that could tear this entire system apart. Do it, Marcus said, but do it right. 12 minutes later, with Sarah and Marcus watching the countdown anxiously, Alex initiated the shutdown sequence. The chamber's humming diminished, the crystalline structures dimming one by one. On their displays, they watched as the gravitational anomaly weakened and finally disappeared. Elena, Sarah called through her communicator. What's the status of the swarm? It's working. Elena's voice was jubilant. Without the anomaly driving them, the asteroids are responding to our gravitational anchors. We're redirecting the entire swarm away from the inhabited planets. Commander, we did it. Arcadia is safe. Relief washed over Sarah, so intense she had to sit down. Beside her, Marcus closed his eyes and whispered something that might have been a prayer. A new dawn, 3 days later. Sarah stood in the Commonwealth's Grand Assembly Hall, surrounded by thousands of people from both Earth and the Arcadia colonies. The ceremony was being broadcast across both civilizations, reaching billions of humans who were just beginning to understand that they were no longer alone. Chancellor Marcus Reeve stood at the podium, his voice carrying across the hall and through space itself. For 800 years, we believed we were alone, he said. We built our civilization in isolation, never knowing if anyone else remembered us or if Earth itself had survived. Today, we know the truth. Humanity endured. Humanity thrived. And today, humanity reunites. He turned to Sarah. gesturing for her to join him at the podium. Commander Chen and her crew risked everything to answer our call. When disaster threatened, our two peoples worked together, combining our different strengths to overcome an impossible challenge. Earth's quantum technology and our biological engineering united, saved millions of lives. Sarah took the microphone, looking out at the sea of faces. Human faces, all of them, yet representing two separate streams of history and development. We are one species, Sarah said simply. Separated by distance and time, but still one family. The Commonwealth and Earth have much to learn from each other. You have mastered life and growth. We have mastered energy and space. Together, there's no limit to what we can achieve. Marcus raised a crystal pendant, crafted from materials found on the rogue planet, symbolizing both the danger they had faced and the cooperation that had saved them. Today, we establish the unified human alliance, he declared. Not a merger or a conquest, but a partnership between equals. Earth and the Commonwealth, different branches of the same tree growing together toward the stars. The hall erupted in cheers, and Sarah felt tears streaming down her face. In the audience, she could see Elena and James celebrating with their Commonwealth counterparts, new friendships forged in the crucible of crisis. Later, as she stood on a balcony overlooking New Terra, Marcus joined her. The twin moons of Arcadia were rising, casting silver light across the city. "What do you think the future holds?" Marcus asked. Sarah smiled, thinking of all the possibilities. "We'll share our technologies and knowledge. Earth can help the Commonwealth expand faster and further. You can help us heal the wounds our planet still carries from the climate wars. We'll search for the other Exodus ships together, reunite the entire human family. And we'll face whatever challenges come together," Marcus added. "The galaxy is vast, and I suspect we've only begun to discover what's out there." "Together," Sarah agreed, shaking his hand once more. "Two humanities, one future." As she looked up at the unfamiliar stars above an alien world that humans had made home, Sarah felt a profound sense of hope. Humanity had been tested by distance, time, and disaster. But in the end, the bonds that connected them proved stronger than anything that tried to tear them apart. The story of two humanities encountering each other among the stars was just beginning, and Sarah couldn't wait to see what the next chapter would bring. Far above them, the frontier's edge orbited alongside Commonwealth vessels, their different designs and technologies a visible symbol of unity and diversity. And beyond them, the galaxy waited, full of mysteries and wonders that humanity, now reunited, would face together. The future belonged to all of them, and it shined brighter than any star.